Okay, everyone, welcome back to Canine Caviar Hangout number 14, and this one is actually going to be talking about garlic and salt and how that impacts the health of your pet. So welcome, Jeff. Do you want to just dive in?
Nice to see you as always.
Good to see you. So we had some questions about, is garlic good or bad for your pet, and then salt as well.
So I think these are really good questions, right? Because you see a lot of people on these blogs or these forums or these so-called people who think they're experts in the pet industry and have these, websites that rank foods or whatever. And my question always is why a pet food should be ranked in stars, right? I mean, typically speaking, if you go to a five-star restaurant, you're not always getting the best food. You're only getting the best atmosphere. So in reality, then, if you're ranking it along those types of terms, your best food would be something that would be less, right? Because it should be more about the quality, not the ambiance or the fluff, I guess you could say, right? And so with our food, I think it's more about, we are all about the pet and not necessarily about the consumer or the sites. And when it comes to garlic, a little bit goes a very long way. And garlic in small amounts is very healthy for you, yeah? At Canine Caviar, we use 500 grams of garlic per 1,000 kg of food. So if you break that down into pounds, we're using, say, roughly 1 to 2 pounds of garlic per 2,000-pound batch of food. It's really, really small amount. And everything is dangerous in large amounts, right? You could kill your dog much faster by having excess amounts of vitamin A, for example, right? But you don't see people talking about this on the website, which has been an issue in the past. I mean, we've had some pet food recalls over the last decade that have actually related to specifically vitamin A, right? But I've never seen a recall or a dog died because of a pet food using garlic, yeah? Now, for sure, if you're feeding your dog too much garlic, it's a problem. This is why you shouldn't be feeding them extra or supplementing the diet, because the pet food companies are putting it in there in inadequate amounts. But garlic is a very, very good antimicrobial. Yeah, it's very good at keeping the pet's immune system healthy and strong.
I heard that it also, and I don't know if it's a rumor because sometimes you never know on internet whether it's true or fact.
That's true. The internet is the largest national inquirer in the world.
Yeah. There was talk about it also being a prevention for like ear mite bites or things like that.
Yeah, this is part of the antimicrobial.
Okay.
So one of the things that, some people say it's good for fleas, but only if you do actually fresh garlic. So if you're doing fresh garlic, make sure it's not in the food that you're feeding, right? And most likely it's not going to be an amount. I mean, in all reality, we could probably put 4 or 5 pounds of garlic into the food and not have a problem. But it's not necessary to have so much. This is why we're using a small amount, because a little goes a long ways. But if you are doing fresh garlic, make sure you're using a plastic press, because the ingredient in garlic that would actually help to prevent the fleas is absorbed into the stainless steel.
Oh, okay.
So it's lost through the process. And even if you have a stainless steel press at home, it would be lost again. So you'd have to use either a plastic garlic press or use your knife or whatever to mash it and to feed it.
Okay. And then about salt, I would assume salt is kind of the same thing. Too much salt, even with us, is bad.
Yeah, exactly. You need a certain amount of salt for electrolyte function, yeah? So if you were drinking Gatorade or these types of sports drinks after you're exercising, it's filled with salt to give you that electrolyte. Because, when you're sweating or you're through your daily life, right, you're expelling the salt through your system. Now, the problem is when you have too much salt, right, then your dog can have edema or these types of things where the dog will look like he's bloated. And the same with humans, right? I mean, when we have too much salt in our diet, we will look bloated because we're retaining too much water. And the same will happen with your pet. But a dog and a human, we need a certain amount of salt, yeah? Now, in America, obviously we get too much salt because we're eating too many processed foods or this or that. But if you're eating a natural diet where you're cooking at home, you should put a little bit of salt on the diet because you do need that for that electrolyte function. And electrolyte function is basically when your brain tells your fingers to move, right? Something has to send a message. well, you need to have proper electrolytes in your body for that message to move in properly. So the same with your pet. Yeah, if he wants to get up, he wants to move his left leg, his right leg. He needs to have something to send that message.
So in our pets, and I know that we're trying to be more conscious of our time, but I have one more question. So say, for example, a dog has too much salt. What can parents do? Do they have to take them to the vet right away, or is there something they can do at home?
No need to take them to the vet. Just look at your treats and see how much salt is in there, right? Because this is where most people are getting the most salt. Yeah, people never think about treats. Yeah, they always say, "Oh, it's a problem with the food or whatever." But in reality, some people are feeding more treats than they're actually feeding food. This is where we have weight gain, or we have sometimes salt issues or allergies. Because they're very conscientious about the ingredients that are in their food. But they don't think twice about if there's wheat or soy or whatever, high salt content in their treats. And so this is the point that we always try to make, is that, if you're feeding treats, then you need to consider that as part of the calorie requirement or the nutritive requirement as well. So if you're having a dog that has high salt issues or something, or you can see that he's starting to retain water, firstly I would look at your treats. I would look at maybe the food that you're feeding and call the manufacturer and ask them what the salt content is on the treats and the food. And they will know for sure, because the computer program that is generating the diet for them, or the recipe, is also giving you those basic information. And one of the reasons why our food does quite well is because on average we have less than 0.5% of salt in the diet. So it's enough for proper electrolyte function, but it's not going to create a problem within the pets.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Jeff. I felt like I was in biology class. So this concludes Hangout number 14. We talked about the importance of kind of understanding how much is too much of garlic and salt in your pet food. So we'll be back again with Hangout 15 soon.
And life in general is moderation, right? I mean, everything in moderation is fine. We should never do anything in excess. And this is the same with our pets.
True. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you.